Hi guys, it is Monday morning, coffee and questions time, September 12th. Hope everybody had a safe and great holiday, remembering what yesterday was all about. And I want to get into a couple things today.
Talk up a
Little
louder because the mic.
Yeah, we're still using our backup camera. By Wednesday's coffee and questions, we should be back to at least the camera we had before, or maybe a different camera. Not sure yet. But anyway, this should be the last one with this particular camera. So all of you guys that really, we apologize for the sound. That's why we're in the house today, you know, because of outside sounds. So hopefully this will come out all right. So let's get into this. Oh, first thing I wanted to say is many of you may have already seen this on my Instagram, but I'm still doing the collaborations with other channels. So I did one the other day and got a shout out from Vickers Tactical. That look okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't want to move.
I'm just not going to zoom in as much as I normally would.
Yeah,
so.
right.
But you can see that perfectly clear.
Okay. So, Vickers Tactical. So, Master Sergeant Vickers has this is a YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen this, if you're into guns, hunting, he does great reviews. Just a terrific channel. So, thank you, Master Sergeant Vickers, for your shout out on, I think it was on Instagram and Facebook. I think on Facebook too. Anyway, so just let you guys know I'm still doing collaborations. I'm working on one right now. I'm very excited about it. I got a couple more in the loop that I'm working on. So that's that. Let's get on to the questions. So the first question I had is, hi Eric, I'm curious as to why when you're routing a sign and you're removing the dust, why blow the dust with a shop vac versus vacuuming? Seems to me you're filling the air with your shop with dust particles, which eventually will end up in your paint or finish. Just curious. Keith Powell. Good question, Keith. All right, so well, number one, I don't do my finishing really in the same shop where I do my routing. I just don't. I do most of my finishing. Fortunately, Arizona is built where I can do most of my finishing outside, whether it's spraying or whether it's brushing on. Again, another fortunate thing is I'm not building fine furniture like maybe some of you or some of the other woodworking guys. I'm making signs. So if the finish doesn't have to absolutely look like perfection, like it would on a piece of furniture or something that's not gonna be put outside. So I'm not worried about dust particles too much. Heck, if I put it outside, you know, I better not worry about it. So that's number one. Number two is when I'm doing a sign, and we learned this years and years ago, when I'm doing a sign, this is just an example of one, but let's just pretend that I just sanded this sign off.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Bless you. You know, this wouldn't be attached. Let's just pretend that I just sanded this sign off. When I sand my signs off, from the time I'm done sanding it off till I put a finish on it, I am very careful not to touch it, the surface of the sign, with my fingers or anything. Literally, I don't want anything to touch the surface of that sign once I blow it off and I've got my finished sand on it, with the exception of a brush. Now, what I say by a brush is that I use this like shoe shine brush. You can see it's got some dust in it right now. I always blow this out to make sure it's as clean as it can get. And that sometimes there's little tiny feathers. Those of you that have done this and you sanded with the grain, sometimes you'll get little tiny feathers, and I'll want to brush that off, but I always blow at the same time with either with my air gun, my compressor, or my little vacuum. I'll always blow at the same time I'm brushing those little feathers out very lightly with this brush. The reason I do that is any of the little feathers or dust that comes off the edges that gets down in that black, it'll kind of dull that black. It'll kind of microscopically kind of scratch the black. So that's why I always blow off the brush first, and then I blow off the sign as I'm brushing. Other than that, I will never let my fingers touch the surface of that sign until after I've got at least one coat of finish on it. Now, that being said, if I'm using my vacuum, and I know this is kind of the long way around to that question, but if I'm using my vacuum and it's sucking, then what will happen is, we found out, what will happen is as I'm trying to suck that out of there, it'll push it down to the board. Then all of a sudden I've got this touching the surface of my board, and it'll leave marks, or at least it always did for me. Now I could put a brush attachment on the end of this, but again, it will only be sucking in the sawdust, and if I've just sanded this off, all of these grooves are filled with sawdust. I mean, it's packed with sawdust. You guys have seen me do this before. If I'm just trying to vacuum that off, and that brush is touching that sawdust, it's grinding it into that black, so that black won't look as good as it's supposed to look. So we found out years and decades ago, it's just easier to blow it off. Now most of the time when I'm doing it, I'm outside. So again, it's different. I'm just telling you guys what I do. You guys can do it however you want. But even if I just hold, and this I've tried this too, even if I just hold this up from the board and I use my hand, I still don't want my hand touching the surface of that board until it's got a finish on it. Because any of your oils from your hand, or most of the time my hands are filthy, dirty, and that sawdust in there has got ink mixed in with it, ink or the primer mixed in with it. It's so much easier for me just to blow it off. And I know that all that sawdust is out of there, and I don't have to touch anything, touch the surface of that board with my hands at all, where I can get smudges or smears or whatever. So that's the big reason for me why we blow it off rather than vacuum it off, with a suction. I don't want any marks on my board. So I hope that kind of clears that up. If you have any questions, let me know. But that's just the way I do it, guys. All right, on to the second question. Here we go. Second question is, hey Eric, this is from Walter Smith, and he puts in here AKA Fuzzy. I'm not even going to touch that. There must be a reason, but I don't want to know. All right, Walter. I did some research and found out the DWP 611 is supposed to get a maintenance check service every 100 hours of operation. Basically a cleaning and replacement of brushes. I think I've had the router for 4 to 6 months. What I'd like to know is how often you change the brushes in your 611, and is there any other type of maintenance you do? Maybe a newsletter or a segment video would be a good idea. Like me, I'm sure there's a lot of new people, students, that are working with a router for the first time. At least I am. So, another really good question. So I've got a couple routers here. I've got this is the Porter Cable 450, but it's in essence the same router as the DWP 611.
Bring them in closer to you.
Closer to me? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And then this is the Makita. And I'll go into this in a minute. Anyway, you guys know this is my favorite router. The 450 and the 611, the DeWalt 611, again, in essence, they're the same router. So, for me, I never check the brushes. I just don't. Why the manufacturer recommends every 100 hours. This router right here, I probably have 1,000 hours on. It's still running fine. The problem with, and I could check the brushes, I absolutely could. Generally speaking, I don't have time. I pick up my router and I go with it. Every once in a while, I'll blow it out, and from a maintenance standpoint, I'll put my air hose here and I'll blow it out. I think I talked about that just within the last couple weeks or something. I'll blow it out here, blow it out there. That's my maintenance, guys. That's pretty much it. For me, to check the brushes on this and rebuild it, we used to, in all of our routers, we used to, our old Black & Deckers back in the 70s and 80s, we used to put bearings in them, change the armatures, put brushes in them, and we'd rebuild them. For me now, I just don't have the time. I've got too many other things to do. For you guys that do have the time and you're just doing this part-time, hey, knock yourself out. But one of the issues why I don't is that in order to get to the brushes on this thing, you got to take this top cap off. And I don't know that I've ever even had this top cap off. I don't even know, I can't even remember what it looks like in there. So it could be that the brushes, once you take this cap off, could be the brushes are very accessible and it's easy to do. Now, the reason I brought the Makita in, I don't use this for carving signs right now, but I am going to, you can see I've got a chamfer bit in there, and I use it for an operation where I'm putting the chamfer on cutout patterns. So I have this set up just for that. Now, you'll see that back in the old days when we had the Black & Deckers, you can see the brush access is right on the side. Super easy to get to the brushes. It's literally just a screwdriver, take that out, boom, the brushes are right there. The 611s, in fact, even the 618, I was looking at it this morning. You got to take the top cap off. It gets more involved in changing the brushes than just pulling these caps out. That's a 5-minute job max probably to change the brushes in this thing. So if these routers had brush access like this, I probably would do it and check them once in a while. Because it literally 30 seconds you can be looking at the brushes. That, you know, it's just more time. Anyway, oh, by the way, I'm going to start doing reviews. I've also got the Rigid, and I'm going to start doing some reviews on routers and maybe some other things too. Let me know if you guys, if that's something that you think would be valuable to you, because that's something I'm going to try it anyway, because I want to see how these perform against each other. So if you guys want to see that, let me know, and I'll start mixing tool reviews in with what I normally do. But anyway, so I brought it in as an example of why this is more difficult to check the brushes than the Makita. I haven't even looked at the Rigid. Anyway, so that's the reason. I just pick up my router and I go, because most of the time I got so much to do that you know, this is what I do. So but for you guys that want to check those brushes and do that maintenance, hey, knock yourself out. My hunch is that the manufacturer would like you to take it to the service center and have them do it for you. And we can all probably agree why that would be. Anyway, I don't think it's a bad idea, but for a $100 router for me, these things just last and last and last. I think I've only had 1 or 2 of these routers, whether it's a 450 or the 611, I think I've only had 1 or 2 of them go bad in the years and years that I've been using them. So you know, they just go and go and go for me. So that's my take on it. I just don't. Back in the old days, I used to do maintenance, but anymore, not that much. Okay, I'm getting they keep it, you know, moving on. All right, sign carvers of the day. Keep me moving, babe. Keep me moving. All right, so we have Doug Blake. Cool looking sign here that he made for his son's wedding.
All right, bear with me.
So we have on our backup camera here, guys, the focus and automatic zoom and stuff isn't quite to the quality. Oops, shoot.
Wow.
May not quite be to the quality. Don't think you got to zoom in too much, because it's actually.
Yeah, zoom in is. There we go.
It finally.
Yep.
The focus finally took over.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So there's that one. Very nicely done, Doug.
Oh shoot.
What?
Not sure.
Uh-oh.
Show that sign again.
Okay.
Hold on. Why is it doing that?
I can see that the aperture is, or the focus is moving kind of funny there.
Well, you'll have to edit. Well, the line goes through the thing, like it's not recording, but I don't know. Anyway, let's just keep going.
Okay, all right. Next is Barbara Stone. She sent me actually a collage. So,
Yeah, we got to get that new camera. This is driving me crazy.
I know, I know, babe. This will be the last video with this backup camera.
I'm trying to get a good picture of this, so that's nice. There we go. Yay.
Okay.
I think so. I don't want to zoom in too much
Yeah.
because it's.
Yeah, and you don't.
I'm
have
sorry, you guys.
To. Pictures are pretty good size, so
Yeah.
you don't have to.
Okay.
Beautiful signs, Barbara. Beautiful stuff. Really, really nice. Very nice job, guys. All right. So, hopefully, you guys will get something out of this video, and the video and sound won't be too bad. Okay, so what else do we need to say?
If they haven't received an email from
Oh yeah, you attendees for the seminar
on
next
October
month.
5th.
On October 5th, you guys should have gotten an email from Vicki with all where the pickup is going to be and all of the details about the day of the seminar. You guys should have gotten one of those. If you haven't, both of our emails will be in the description of this video. So let us know right away. But we've already picked the pickup spot, and those of you that aren't coming to the 5th, but you're coming to the 15th and the 18th, you'll be getting an email from Vic probably within the next few days. So everybody will be on board and know what's going. Let us know, for you, again, those of you that are attendees, send us an email and let us know whether you're flying in, that we need to pick you up, or whether we need to get you the address of where it's going to be, and you're driving in. Wouldn't that be good to know?
That's
yeah. So send us an email, send Vicki an email, and let us know whether you're driving in. And some of you we already know, but some of them that we're not quite sure. So let us know whether you're driving in and you need that address of the location, or whether you're flying and we'll be picking you up in Vegas. That would be just nice to know. What else? I guess that's it. If this was helpful for you, please give us a thumbs up. Share our videos. We appreciate it. And subscribe, of course. If you haven't subscribed, if this is the first time you're watching us, we got tons of videos showing what we do. So we will see you again on Wednesday morning for Coffee and Questions, hopefully with a brand new camera. So
I hope so.
Yeah, everybody have a great day and make some sawdust. Be happy. We'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.